It is the near future. The apocalypse has had an apocalypse. A rogue cyborg army is reshaping the world into cyber hell. And only one thing can stop them.
Let's show them how cyber commandos get it done.
Mark 4 style, motherfucker!
Greatest fighting force ever assembled!
Good prices, no rats. That's the Fairsley difference.
I really like first-person shooters. Some of my favorite early memories of gaming were with 2 Xboxes and 2 TVs back to back, networked up, and stomping my buddies in maps like Blood Gulch and Hang 'em High. I also have very early memories of playing Perfect Dark and GoldenEye in my church's basement. And of course, there was that gritty, dark, and bland period that flooded the 360 and the PS3 with games like Resistance and Gears of War. These games were fun, but they were ultimately very bland looking, and I'm looking for a shooter with a little bit more pizzazz. So if you haven't guessed yet, this video is about Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. We'll explore how this game perfectly captures the vibe of the 80s action film, and why recent remakes like Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, and Metroid Prime succeed by tapping into our nostalgia. Blood Dragon offers a unique take on the gameplay of Far Cry 3. The game is set in the dystopian future of 2007, where you play as a cyber commando named Rex Power Cult. Voiced by Michael Biehn, he's on a mission to stop a rogue agent named Colonel Sloan. You're on this mission with another agent named Spider, who's voiced by Phil Lamar of Futurama and Samurai Jack fame. The combat is fast-paced, with various weapons like a shotgun, assault rifle, and neon bow. Of course, they also have very futuristic-ish names, like the sniper rifle is called the Cobra Con. The game also features various side missions, which include hunting specific animals and saving nerds to unlock upgrades at the bases you capture. This game was released as standalone DLC for Far Cry 3, so if you've played a modern Far Cry game, then you'll quickly understand how to play this game. Blood Dragon has a small open world, but it allows you to approach capturing bases and traversing the landscape pretty quickly. When you unlock bases, you can use them as fast travel points, but you can also use jeeps, sea-doos, and gliders to get around. The plot is as well written as basically any 80s or 90s action film. Basically just pick any movie with Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and you could use that as your example. The game's humor is a little groan-worthy, and about as subtle as a brick, but it fits well with the 90s aesthetic.
I'm a brick!
And I promise that there's a few one-liners that you'll be saying for at least a week, Anchorman style.
That's gonna do it for all of us here at Channel 4 News. You stay classy, San Diego. I'm Ron Burgundy. Damn it!
You'll excuse me.
It's been a kick, gotta fly! Pretty nifty gizmo, huh, kids?
Well, here's the announcer to tell you how you can have your very own.
That's right, kids. New this season, it's the Freakmobile, now with this nifty boot-kicking attachment. It moves back and forth, and even comes with this small, chubby little fanboy, suitable for kicking. Wow, what fun! It's the toy we think you should buy. Freakazoid Freakmobile comes complete with boot-kicking attachment and chubby little fanboy. Fingers not included, battery sold separately, song of the vocal bumpin' not available. We thought this would be a funny idea. Who knew? This has been a fake commercial, so don't buy anything and continue enjoying our fine program.
At the tail end of the 80s, which means I only got to experience being aggressively marketed to through cartoons for a very short period of time.
Cash, cash, cash for your bones!
Shows like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks, and Dragonflies were rife with price tags and should have basically just been commercials. Shows like G.I. Joe that heavily influenced this game are no exception.
Buy all our playsets and toys!
But this shockingly led to about the perfect amount of nostalgia for me. It didn't overstay its welcome and manages to nail the feel of a game that never really existed but is something that I just really always wanted to play. The graphics of Blood Dragon are heavily influenced by the neon style of the arcades of the early 80s and 90s, and has the thematic feel of many Rambo flicks. But like Wind Waker, the style lends itself to kind of future-proofing, and they did release an upgraded version with better graphics for modern consoles. I really liked the 16-bit style cutscenes, and it really made me feel like I should be holding an SNES controller instead. The game doesn't feature a huge variety of environments, but with the neon outline and the scan lines in the sky, plus the static that happens when you take damage, it really comes together for a very cohesive and beautiful experience. The game also features a soundtrack that perfectly captures the vibe of the era, combining a Daft Punk style synthwave with a little bit of 80s rock. I started listening to some of the songs in my workout mix, and it actually has been really helpful in getting me motivated. The retro idea of the future is fascinating to me, and the 80s were rife with interesting and cool consumer electronics. Things that you would have seen out of a RoboCop or a Total Recall, and that kind of helps make this game feel like a product of the 80s. Unlike games like Brutal Legend, which kind of drags on, and Duke Nukem Forever, which is plagued with lowbrow comedy.
This will make you more like Sloane. Powerful, but without the side effects.
No, Doc. No way. I swore an oath to a special lady.
Your wife?
No. Lady Liberty.
Modern gamers are spoiled for choices of having excellent games that have been remade recently. Games like Resident Evil 4, Metroid Prime, and Dead Space have all received recent upgrades that have improved the controls, added to the storytelling, and helped make a more cohesive gaming experience. Despite predating those remakes by a decade, Blood Dragon nails all the things that make those remakes great.
Great is okay, but amazing would be great.
The game keeps the best part of the original Far Cry 3 and adds that unique spin, creating a game that is familiar to people who play first-person shooters, but has a really unique story and feel to it. The Blood Dragon clearly understand the secret sauce of what makes 80s and 90s action movies so appealing, and they've made a game that really targets people who are looking for that type of experience. It's not a game that you're gonna reload up immediately after playing the first time, but it is something that you can go back to every couple years and play on relatively modern hardware, and it'll look great. The game has received one follow-up so far called Trials of the Blood Dragon. It is similar to the Trials series. It's a motorcycle game where you run through obstacles. Netflix is also getting in on the Blood Dragon action by producing Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. Not a lot is known about this, and I was only able to really find information about the announcement, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Hopefully it's good. I think that Blood Dragon perfectly captures the vibe of the early 80s and 90s action film.
Heroin spilled out.
Damn it!
The game is fast-paced, and the synthwave soundtrack and immersive world really help the game stand out. If you're about my age and are looking for a unique first-person shooter experience, you could do much worse than Blood Dragon. This standalone DLC for Far Cry 3 shows the power of nostalgia in gaming. It has high-action gameplay that kept me engaged, impressive visuals, and it's a must-play for fans of unique, short experiences that are also first-person shooters. Some of the games we talked about in this episode were Far Cry 3, Resident Evil 4, and Dead Space. We also talked about Halo a little bit at the beginning, and we spoke fairly unfavorably about Brutal Legend and Duke Nukem Forever. We also briefly touched on Trials of the Blood Dragon, which should be coming out soon, as well as Captain Laserhawk, the Blood Dragon remake. We talked about a few cartoons, G.I. Joes, Street Sharks, Dragonflies. Let me know what favorite short games you've played recently in the comments. As a parent and a fan of shorter experiences, especially with Tears of the Kingdom out, I need things that are short so that I can go back to play Tears of the Kingdom. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you tonight.